let's talk a little science. We share a portion of our brains with every other creature on the planet. It's the portion of our brains that controls our bodily functions, that produces the fight, flight, or freeze response, and that has kept us alive in existence as the human species for so long. I've heard of that portion of the brain referred to as our ancient brain, or our lizard brain, or monkey mind. And when it comes to social programming, it's often called the ego, the inner critic, or even the inner mean girl. We're gonna call it our Dino Mind. That portion of our brain is very powerful. It has evolved over millennia with the sole purpose of keeping us alive and safe. And it has some really strong pull. The Dino Mind is afraid of change because when humans were living in caves, change often meant death. The Dino Mind is afraid of the unknown because when we were living in a cave, the unknown often meant death. And the Dino Mind is afraid of emotional pain because emotional pain often meant physical pain, abandonment from the tribe, or monumental risk, which would lead to death. Basically, your Dino Mind just thinks everything is going to kill you, and its whole job is to keep you alive. Your Dino Mind wants to stay safe in the cave, even when that cave feels awful. And your cave may be financial strife. It may be an unfulfilling career path. It may be an unhealthy relationship. It may be a negative body image or a number of other things. And your Dino Mind will keep you from making any changes because it doesn't understand the difference between real threats we may have experienced back in the day when leaving the cave meant being chased by an animal that wanted to eat you for dinner, and current times when most of us capable of viewing this video are generally pretty safe in our physical worlds. And since the Dino Mind doesn't understand those differences, it'll create neural pathways that produce emotions like anxiety, fear, dread, and shame when they're entirely unnecessary and make you feel like you're gonna die when there's absolutely no real threat of death. The biggest difference between us as humans and other animals on the planet is the prefrontal cortex. That's the front portion of our brains that gives us executive function. The prefrontal cortex allows us to make decisions, to think things through, and have the capacity for abstract contemplation. I believe that strengthening this exclusively human portion of our brains is literally the next stage of evolution. And that's what we work on during this program at every level. Practicing with the prefrontal cortex to help build those intentional neurosignals that will eventually override many of the pre-programmed Dino Mind signals. And I say pre-programmed not because you were born with them all, but if we think of the mind, the Dino Mind, as similarly to any piece of technology, there are some programs that are built in from evolution, like stay safe in the cave. And then there are some programs that are built in from our upbringing. And these come from well-meaning parents, teachers, friends, society at large, the media, and all other aspects of our communities, churches, workplaces, athletic teams, academic clubs, and every other individual and group of people we've been around for our entire lives. Our brains also come equipped with what's called the reticular activating system, which acts like a tiny little matchmaker, ensuring that what we experience matches up with our inner beliefs and expectations. This is the basis for things like cognitive bias. It's also what causes the bizarre phenomenon where you purchase a new car and suddenly every third car on the street seems to be the same one as yours. It's not that you are suddenly a magical trendsetter, although I'm quite certain there are plenty of people who would love to be like you. It's just that your awareness has shifted. It's impossible to take in literally everything around us. We all have unconscious blinders to what our Dino Minds allow us to consciously notice. But we absorb thoughts offered to us from external sources, and the reticular activating system of our Dino Minds sifts through them and takes on those that feel most comfortable as they relate to staying safe in the cave. Keeping our experiences matched up with our often pre-programmed beliefs and expectations. But in order to progress in our lives and fulfill our deepest yearnings, or just feel a little bit less like shit on a daily basis, We must determine which of our thoughts are pre-programmed and which are our own, then see what those thoughts has created for us so that we can consciously and intentionally choose which ones we want to keep and act from and which ones we want to let go of and replace with more helpful and beneficial thoughts that will take us further along the paths we want to follow. And that's what my program is designed to help you with at the very deepest level. We won't get super esoteric or woo-woo in this program, though that doesn't mean I'm discounting anything you believe in terms of spirituality. And my job is absolutely not to tell you what to think or do, but merely to help you see your own thought patterns and offer you ideas and tools that allow you to build your exclusively human brain muscles, strengthening that prefrontal cortex, allowing you to make more conscious decisions rather than living by way of the Dino Mind, unconsciously going through life completely unaware of how your experiences are created. Life and everything in it does not happen to you. And I'm here to show you how you create it. This is not manifestation. This is not the law of attraction. This is your power in your own life. And you're here to discover or reclaim it. And I'm here to help you with that. Will it be easy? No. Will it be comfortable? No. Remember, your Dino Mind wants you to stay safe in the cave because it thinks that stepping outside of the cave will kill you, and I'm going to ask you to explore, and you will not die from it. It will be challenging. At times, it will be wildly uncomfortable, and you'll often find yourself having fallen into what we'll lovingly call the pit of despair, where you recognize what's happening, but you're not quite sure yet how to change it. But if you do the work, if you stick with it, and if you allow yourself the opportunity to grow, what I can promise you is that it will be worth it. And what's more, if you do every single assignment, attend every single coaching call with me, and at the end of this year-long journey, you don't believe you've gotten value from it, I'll offer you a full refund. That's how much faith I have in this work. When you finish this program, you will notice a significant change if you're willing to get uncomfortable, if you're willing to be wrong, and if you're willing to consistently do the work.